What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, wanted to go ahead and make a quick video here for you all because the Indianapolis Colts news about running back Jonathan Taylor, it continues to go in a swirl of information right now. And there's a lot of things to try to decipher right now. So I'm going to try to do my best to give you guys as much knowledge as I can recall from people that have talked with others and just deciphering it for anyone that's wanting to know if anyone else is interested. So obviously, like I mentioned, the Indianapolis Colts, in a short that I did earlier, said that the Colts gave Jonathan Taylor until Tuesday to make it to where he is able to get a trade partner in that would offer a good enough deal to confirm a trade with that team. Now, first things first, I would like to mention again that a lot of this is also going to come down to Jonathan Taylor and his physical. Remember, when he came into training camp, he had failed his physical, right? He failed his physical. That's what was reported when he came into camp. And we are not 100% certain on what that is. We've heard people say it was a back. We heard that the ankle rehab didn't go 100% the way that he wanted it to, but we're presuming it's the ankle, assuming Jonathan Taylor is telling the truth that he did not injure his back. Then obviously his ankle is still bad, or it could be, again, a ploy to simply state the fact that he also doesn't want to play for Indianapolis and he's trying to find a different way to get out. People have done that. It's a little unethical, but then again, we don't know what's going on. I'd like to presume that the ankle is still probably an issue, and that's going to cause an issue for Jonathan Taylor, because if Jonathan Taylor cannot physically pass the physical, then it's going to cause an issue with him being able to be traded in the first place. But let's say, for all intents and purposes, he's going to probably be okay here shortly. He's going to pass his physical, and probably within the next several weeks, he'll probably be better. I mean, let's just presume, right? I'm not 100% on it, but we'll figure that out as it goes along. But let's get into the nitty gritty of some of the teams who have called. So from what it sounds like, the only team that can be confirmed from what we saw that has made an offer to the Indianapolis Colts has been the Miami Dolphins. They've been very outward spoken about trying to get Jonathan Taylor on that roster. Now, I will say this. Let's start with this. The first report came out that Stephen Holder said that there were 6 teams interested in making calls to the Indianapolis Colts. So far, I have only been able to gauge about 4 of them. That's about it. I don't know the other 2, and not many other people are saying so. But the main front runner in this entire equation has been Miami. Miami, with a few tweaks to its roster, could clear up enough space that they have the money to be able to pay Jonathan Taylor a sizable contract. They have players/draft picks capable of being able to make a trade with the Indianapolis Colts. And they have the situation where they want him because they love what Jonathan Taylor can do. He's all about speed and power, and he would be dynamic in that offense that already has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle at wide receiver. So it would be a great situation for the Miami Dolphins, is why they've been so outward about trying to make this deal happen. Now, do they have enough to make Indianapolis want to trade Jonathan Taylor away? That's going to be the big question. Shout out to Destin Adams, by the way, for these. I know he brought this up, so make sure y'all go check out his content. I trust his view on it. I trust the people that he talks to. I know that this guy definitely doesn't, just spew nothing out there if he didn't believe in what he was saying. So teams that he says have expressed interest has been the Los Angeles Rams and the Chicago Bears. Now, the Chicago Bears, I definitely could see being a team that would also go after him, because the Bears have one of the top caps left in the market. So they have no problem with that. And then on top of it, when you talk about they have draft capital, they have draft picks that would be enticing to the Indianapolis Colts if they wanted to go that route. And, that could definitely be a thing. From what he was hearing and from what Shad was hearing, because shout out to Shad as well. Make sure that y'all go follow him as well. He also said the Rams call, but they said it was more of a due diligence rather than expressing like serious interest. So that could be another thing. And also shout out as well to him for a couple different things. He also wanted to remind people, and I will bring this point up as well. It's not like all these teams are just calling the Colts right away, right? They're calling JT's agent to see if JT is interested in even going to this franchise to begin with. When they find out that there's interest between Jonathon Taylor and this team, then they will call the Indianapolis Colts and ask the Colts what their asking price is and what they can work out. Because if you're going to go just straight to the Colts, but Jonathon Taylor doesn't want to go to your team, then the trade is just null and void, and you're trading for a guy that doesn't want to be there and a guy that's just going to sit or do whatever, and it's just not going to work out for you. He also stated that Minnesota had called about expressing interest in Jonathon Taylor. Now, I don't think there's any way that he ends up in Minnesota. The reason being is that Minnesota didn't want to pay Dalvin Cook, right? They had Dalvin Cook in the building already, and you had plenty of opportunities to sign that man and make it, very easy to sign Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs in the league already, but you chose not to pay him, not to move on. And now you're going to go with another guy that's injured and wants more money. I don't see that happening at all. The only other team that I could think, just thinking outside the box of a team that would maybe be the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns, they cleared up all that cap for them, but I highly doubt that this would happen because, for one, I don't see the logic in having 2-star running backs on the roster at the same time, unless they think that there's a plan that Kevin Stefanski has for both of them. But even if there was, you would be paying that much money to a guy that's going to play second fiddle to your already number one running back. I highly doubt that it would even happen, but I've had people suggest the idea of it, but I highly doubt that would be the case. So far, guys, it's sounding like right now the leader in all of this is the Miami Dolphins because they have the necessary ingredients or have the ability to have the necessary ingredients to make this trade happen. Just whether or not they actually do it is up to the Indianapolis Colts. And of course, the Chicago Bears is another team that I could truly see being a good counterpart to Jonathon Taylor being there. Does JT want to go to Chicago? I have no idea. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. That's just breaking down some of the teams that I've heard have expressed interest and what they've been giving up and all of this stuff. But that's going to do it for this video right now, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the situation. Which teams do you think has a chance before Jonathon Taylor's trade deadline on Tuesday? And that's also when roster cuts are happening. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.